Hi everyone. So I'm really happy to see that more and more people are joining the group, and also that we have, posts from different people and comments on each other's posts and all that. That's really what I really want this group to be, and not only me just like posting and putting information out there, but really the interaction and how much we can add to each other and compare charts and things like that. So thank you so much for doing that, and for adding value to the group. So I wanted to start looking together at some stuff that has been posted lately, and maybe some new members. Let's see. I think you can see this. Yeah. So let's start from the top, maybe. What's there? What's going on? So let me do this. So this was the last post. A lot of people, wow, the dream spell, super super cool, and somebody was posting about, I think, the Mayan calendar as well, and how, yeah, really really cool. So what do we have? Nancy. So Nancy is interested in especially the 11th and the 28th, the obscurity and purposelessness. So let's see if we can look at the chart together. A 4-6 profile, so really the challenge is kind of numbness and anxiety. That's when we, as a 4-6 profile, you see the dot 4 on this side and dot 6 on this side, when we don't remember to live from our heart. So when we get constricted in our breath, for example, when there happens something with our heart chakra, we go into numbness and anxiety. So what the fourth line personality needs to do is to come back to doing what we love. And by doing what we love, we also serve others. That is really the key for the server, for the fourth line. And like we see, so the questions were about obscurity and purposelessness. So here, when there is numbness in the heart and anxiety, and we kind of exaggerate our problems and we don't breathe properly, then what's going to happen is that we activate the conflict, the turbulence, the superficiality or vanity. Our dreams are not going to be nurtured anymore. And since we can't see that the vision of what we have, of what we think is possible and know is possible as 4-6 profiles, when that's not nurtured, it's going to feel really dark. It's going to feel like the intent behind everything is not really there. The purpose behind the things are not there. And we're not going to feel grounded when we are 4-6 profiles, when this happened, when there is nothing that nurtures your vision, when the people in your life, the loving community, doesn't nurture what you know is possible, it's going to feel dark. And then in relationships, it's going to feel like it's not really any real value. It's more like distraction. There can even be entrapment or manipulation in the relationships. And also it's can become quite heady, where there are a lot of opinions, and where you kind of feel like it's a 6 line again, so kind of the separation, or like you're not really part of it. You feel like you maybe don't even know why you're here on earth. Can feel like that, I came to the wrong planet kind of thing, because there is not this nurturing of what you know is possible. Your soul is a visionary, and when it doesn't feel that in relationship, when it doesn't feel that in the grounded, when it doesn't feel that in the love and community, it doesn't feel like it can serve the world. And then this kind of really becomes a spiral that goes down. And then the very essence of being here for a purpose, of being a game player that takes the risk because it's worth it, all that kind of goes out of the window. And it feels like there is no purpose, because there is no nurturing in the relationships, and nurturing that really has a deeper value, that really nurtures what we know is possible. And then the relationships become, like we said before, more a distraction or something more superficial, or even where there is manipulation. And also, if we look, what I kind of feel called to look at this chart is the pathway of individuation. So here we have a person that is supposed to be really grounded in the intent of what's possible, the intent of light, the intent of what we are here to do and what we're here to serve. So really grounded in that knowing, and probably a kind of server of the light. That's the highest purpose, and that intent is in every action and inaction. And then somebody is here to, through relationship, enrich the world and be able to play with relationships in all kinds of ways, with a passion, with a romance, with a playfulness, with a sensuality. And then who's really grounded again in the heart of belonging. And also the physical for this person comes from that kind of the heart chakra and the breath. And there's a kind of new spark in how to be in your heart, in how to speak from your heart, a kind of simplicity, a kind of spontaneity of being there, that then is expressed in your essence of being a risk taker, game player again, who simplifies life because it's really just here to serve that purpose in totality of the moment and not really care about what happens the next moment. And then you become this kind of spokesperson for what peace really is, and that aura where people can really just serve each other, you could say, that aura of peace and diplomacy. So that's really in this pathway of individuation, where you can see that you have both the 11 and the 28th. These are kind of Scorpio energies, I would say. They play with death, and they kind of have to go really, really deep in purposelessness and obscurity. So this is part of your life energy. This is part of what you're here for. You're here to go deep, to go to the dark, to transform. So both these keys are very shamanic, and you do it in a very foundational level. You go to the basics of it, and you also go very high to the sixth line, to the very intent of it. So this is an interesting pathway of individuation. I would really look at this a lot for you to see how strong this expression of your life force is. So yeah, I hope that helps. So let's look at something more in the feed. Let's see. Oh no, it's opening again. Let's see. Yeah, I love this that came up. I was asking Richard the other day of putting it on the website, and he's like, yeah, post it, more like post it so that people can interact with it, was his answer. So I'm gonna kind of write that in the other group where it was first posted. So with chant, my internet is funny. Here are a lot of posts as well on the, the gate of leadership that we're in right now, the 31st gene key, and the 7th, how they are here with between the throat and the ajna, and how really it's kind of the 31 is the expression of leadership, but the real leadership comes from the G center, the love and direction and identity that we're grounded in. So this is really interesting. I feel like from the Gene Key book, a really interesting quote. And the Lion's Portal, really, really cool as well, what's going on. Astrologically, here we have more things about the houses and the signs that are connected in the energy. I mean, this I would love to hear you guys play with, the programming partners. Really see how that can help you unlocking things. I would love to have more comments on that, because there are not many people. And it's only a short video, so the instructions are really short, and you have them. It's like a PDF, like a slide thing that you can check. And here we have Adrian, who posted the thing about the dream spell and kind of putting human design with a dream spell and doing that connection, making that connection. Super fascinating. All the new members, super welcome. 42 people in the last week. Here we have a new chart. Say something about it. A 1-4. Wow, interesting profile. I don't think I've done many 1-4s. It's not very very common as a profile. So it's a 1-3, but instead of bumping into things, it's about friendship and creating community and being grounded in your from your heart center and in breath. So it's still this investigator in the personality. Somebody's here to investigate, to go deep, to create, to go about its own thing. And it can be kind of this thing. The challenge is to be like, oh, what's in it for me? I'll better focus on me. Why focus on a relationship, or why focus on the other when I can just go about my own thing and be inspired by that? So it's really the challenge of including others, and including the right people, you could say, and including people where you can create friendship and where you feel like you're free to breathe, I would say. And that's really kind of what makes you come in and be able to live your inner purpose in you and have your radiance. So what goes from the personality activations to the soul activations is this evolution, the challenge. And here you can also see that you have reaction, and that is something. So often it's these things that happen in relationships where there is intolerance and reaction that don't allow you as a first line personality to feel into how beautiful it is with relationships, that don't make you access the fourth line of your soul in that case. So in the worst case scenario would be somebody who kind of feel a lot of the relationship being intolerance and reaction, and then can't really step into the empowerment, because the empowerment have to do with creating a relationship with others where you can inspire them to their own empowerment. And in that case, there would be complexity in your friendships. There would be even deafness for what other people are saying. And again, the same thing we're seeing with Nancy. There could be entrapment, manipulation, corruption, even in relationship, and even in intimacy and sensuality and sexuality. And then we see, this was Nancy's keys as well, with it goes into the distraction, even the denial of what's really there, kind of under the surface. This is the core wound before it becomes the vocation. So an inability to look at the other and see a mirror and see your own part of it, in kind of a distraction, instead of seeing what's really there and learn from it. And then that will go into the intolerance, to the reaction, to the complexity, to the deafness, to the not the right people, the manipulation, the corruption, the distraction. That kind of feeds and feeds and feeds. But what we really want is to have this self-empowered creator that is here to speak about the things that work for you, that you're sure of, and then inspire that in others, and then create relationships with other people where you feel it's better together than by myself. That's really what the first line wants to come to that. And then there is going to be new understanding. You're going to be able to create even a revolution in relationship, that's something new that really is happening from the emotional center when we look at it in a human design perspective. You're going to kind of break through your heart and go out of the patterns that maybe were those patterns that you see here in the shadow frequency. Break through that, break into your heart, break through a new kind of spontaneity, a new kind of listening, a new kind of friendships, and a new kind of space and breath that you can have in relationship, where you can live in your sensuality, in your relationships, in what you attract. All these lines, the same thing as Nancy, the playfulness, the wholesomeness, the romantic part of it, the sensuality, where really you start to find an equilibrium in relationship, where you have that balance. Something is in this for you, as for the other person. So very far away, this first line that thinks, if it's nothing in it for me, I don't go there. And then you're going to start to become enriched by other people and use other people as mirrors to look into yourself, and to start to actually want to start to peel and unlock the things that are in your own, in yourself, that you might not have been wanting to see, so that your core wounds, instead of distracting you, instead of not making you want to look, is going to start to enrich you. You're going to start to become like a storyteller of what happened to you, and that's going to fuel your life's work, because you're going to use your own core wound, your own shadow sides. And when you're able to share about that in an empowered way, there's going to be so much understanding and inspiring of forgiveness, and a new way of relating together. It's going to feed into the right people again with you, and you listening, sensuality, and more of this enrichment together. And really, you're here to really be in your power and to have your own personal style. So that's part of being this empowered creator. But it comes through not denying the hard things, not denying what hurts, but see that as an enrichment, a possibility to be more and go deeper. And really, when it comes to your emotional and mental defenses, it's again to not cut off, to not become aloof, to not be distant, but to be there in life, in intimacy, in transmutation, transfiguration with the other, to not alienate yourself, to not become aloof, to not become separate, to not go up too much into your head, but to be in the intimacy and in the transmutation, even when it's hard. That's going to immensely help you to go in and to really, really live this part of your innermost part, your heart, to share that with others, and to also help your inner child to be playing with you in this lifetime, I would say. So yeah, that's super, super cool. And let's see if there is anything more that I wanted to see. It's not moving again. Oops. Yeah, I would love to have more interaction on these things. I felt this was super interesting, to see really about the feminine, the masculine, and also understanding what it is that makes up this Kundalini, and the and really just like the flow in our body of energy. Would love to hear more about that. Even this, the men and the women, is it true? Like, do you feel the same? Yeah, I guess I'm stopping here, but please just scroll down and see what's been said and what's been done, and any comments on it is just super, super cool. So I guess thank you for today, and any comments and interaction is welcome. Bye.